everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be doing a vinyl update video, so yeah, just a roundup of all the things I've purchased over the last month or so. So yeah, there's a bit of a jam-packed video, this one here. I was lucky enough last month to meet up with a couple of great people from the vinyl community, like Rob Walker and Callum Rhodes. We had a great time shopping in in Manchester, and then a couple of days later I went to Leeds with Callum to a record fair. So yeah, I got quite a lot of things from that, and then also just some various online purchases, as well as some stuff which I got just today. So yeah, I'll just kick off things with a couple of miscellaneous online purchases here. Well, this first one is a new album what came out earlier this year, which I've already reviewed. It's the latest one by Lloyd Cole. So I think this is a great record here. It's called Guesswork, and yeah, fantastic record. Really looking forward to seeing Lloyd live in October. I think I'm going to see him, so yeah, fantastic record here from Lloyd Cole. And then I also got this one online. This was a eBay purchase actually, and it was only £10 this, brand new vinyl, so I thought you can't beat that, why not, we'll just get it. It's the latest record, the latest studio album from Paul Heaton and Jackie Abbott. Recently become a massive Paul Heaton fan, so this is a nice addition to the collection. It's a Crooked Calypso. And yeah, this is a pretty solid album here. I wouldn't say it's quite as good as Wisdom, Laughter and Lines, but there are still some really cracking songs on this. I Got a Praise, She Got the Garden, and People Like Us would be my favourites from this album. Okay, and then I'll move on to some of the things which I got when I met up with Callum and Rob. So firstly, I got a little package of singles from Rob, which I was very, very, very grateful for. So yeah, a big thank you to Rob for being so kind to give me this stack of singles here. I'm not a massive collector of singles, but I'm getting more into them, especially with Richard McCook's videos, where he tends to focus more on singles, and they are really interesting videos. So yeah, I'm keen to start collecting singles a bit more. So yeah, Rob got me a wee bundle here. So he knows I'm a big fan of The Beautiful South, so he got me 3 of theirs. So You Keep It All In, I'll Sail the Ship Alone, A Little Time, and My Book here. So yeah, those are all really nice. And then he also got me Lloyd Cole. Ooh, that's the wrong way around. Lloyd Cole one for Jennifer, She Said, from their last album, Mainstream. And then a Madness one here. I'm not too familiar with Madness. Of course I can know the hits and that, but this song here, Grey Day, I'm not familiar with, but yeah, nice to get some of their stuff. They all these bands, any record collection needs at least that one Madness album in it, really. And then I also got Orange Juice, Rip It Up. Again, been really getting into these guys lately. That's probably the most popular song there. This was a really nice one as well. It's a Police one, Can't Stand Losing You, and this is quite neat because it's on a lovely blue vinyl there. So that's that one. Then there's this one here, which is Blancmange, and The Day Before You Came, of course, a cover off the classic ABBA song. I would say I do prefer the ABBA version, but this is still a very, very, very good cover of it. This is actually more successful than ABBA's own version of it there. So that's Blancmange. And then this was a really nice one as well. Love Talk Talk, and their song It's My Life here. This is the 1990 reissue of it with a live version of Renee on the back of it. So all this from Rob, really grateful. He's a top guy, and it was great, and it was great to meet up with him in Manchester. So then from that trip we went to a couple of different record shops here. The first one we went to was Real Around the Fountain Records, which is in Stretford, so a bit out of the city centre, but it is always worth taking a trip out there, because they always do have fantastic stuff. This time though I maybe didn't quite do as well in there as I had done on previous trips, but it was still really worth going to this shop, which neither Callum nor Rob had ever been to. So yeah, I picked up these ones here. So yeah, I said, really getting into the group Orange Juice. So I found this compilation of theirs called In a Nutshell, which I thought that I would get. So this just sort of collects all of their singles really on it, a little bit of everything from them there. This next one is a band which my good friend Vinyl Collector James has kind of been sort of like, he's a big fan like off like this group. He always sort of like pestering me saying like, you have to listen to this record, you have to listen to this record. So finally I've got a copy of it, which is Japan's album Tin Drum, like kind of like classic, like sort of like slightly like sort of like new romantic like sort of like early 80s like sort of like vibe to this one here. So yeah, there's that one. And then there's this one here, which is again a record which I've kind of like been meaning to get like for like a wee while, because I really love this band's first album, Kilimanjaro, but this is the Teardrop Explodes and Wilder here. This has again a lot of great songs like Passionate Friend and like Bent Out of Shape. Yeah, there's some really good stuff on their second album, Wilder, from 1984 here. And then the last one from Real Around the Fountain was this Blue Nile 12-inch single, which like, you rarely see. So this is for the song Saturday Night on the album Hats, and yeah, this was another nice pickup there. So then we took a little jaunt on the trams and went to the shop in Charlton called King Bee Records, and like I would say that for like on balance, like I probably did a little bit better there than I did at like Real Around the Fountain. Like actually like I had to put like a few things like away, like otherwise like I was gonna go like over budget. But yes, like I ended up picking up these ones here. So the first one was one which was in a bargain bin, which Rob like actually found, and like said like he asked me like if I could heard of these guys. I think I'd heard the name, but like wasn't like actually familiar like with like their music. But like for £1 he said, Ross, you've got to get this album. So it is by The Farm, and it's called Spartacus. Now The Farm, they are from Liverpool, but like they're very sort of like Stone Roses, like sort of like Happy Mondays, Manchester like sort of like sound to them, and yeah, like there are a few like hit singles like on this album here, and like All Together Now, and I think Groovy Train as well, that was one of the singles. So yeah, that is The Farm. Also got this, so this was only £3 this one here. Now I've been kind of checking out sort of early Simple Minds stuff. It's very different like from like their sort of like later more like sort of like commercially commercially driven work. Like kind of like at the start they're a bit more sort of like moody, like and like synth based. So this is one of like the early records. It's called Suns and Fascination. So I thought for £3, why not like give it a go? And yeah, this was also a really good album there. And then I actually got a single as well, like from this place. They were all 50p, like the singles. However, there weren't like too many which like I really wanted. Like, but like I did get this one. It's the last House Martin single called There's Always Something There to Remind Me. And yeah, this isn't a great song personally. I do think this was a rather weak last single for the House Martins, but wasn't on like any album like at all. So this is really like one of like the only places like you can get that song. And then there's a live version of Get Up Off Our Knees on the B-side. So that one's quite nice. Then also got this album here, which is one which again Vinyl Collector James like recommended to me. Like he said that he really enjoyed listening to this record. So I thought like when I seen it, I was like, why not pick it up? It is the Undertones and their album Hypnotized here. So this is kind of like sort of like 1980. This one came out kind of like sort of like power pop, like sort of punk style music here. I really love the song. Yeah, My Perfect Cousin, like I've always liked that song. But like yeah, like there's a load of great stuff on here. Like it's kind of jam packed full like of songs there. So yeah, that's the Undertones second album. And then I was also able to finally fill a hole in my David Bowie collection. I finally picked up this record, which is The Man Who Sold the World. I think I was holding out like on getting a copy like with like the original cover like of him like of him like in like the dress like on like the sofa thing, but like that originals of that are like impossible. Like you'd have to like just get like a reissue like off it, like which I never like got round to getting. So this was only I think about £10 I think. Like so like I thought, yeah, why not, we'll pick that one up. Just nice to get like a copy of it here. So this is the 1972 reissue, like kind of just after like he made it big, like they re-put out this album. So yeah, The Man Who Sold the World, David Bowie, absolute classic. And then I also got this record, which is the second album from this band. I absolutely love their first record. Like that's considered like kind of like a cult classic album. This one like maybe like not as much, but is still a really solid album. So it's their Television, and this is their album Adventure. So yeah, like there's some great stuff like on here. Like I I was familiar with the song Glory from the cover, like, which Lloyd Cole done, and then there's other good ones like Foxhole and like The Fire. Yeah, there's some really, really good stuff, and this one's kind of special as well because it's on a sort of like lovely sort of like translucent-y red vinyl there. So yeah, that's Television and Adventure. And then at this point we went back into the centre of Manchester, like, got something to eat, and then went around a couple more record shops. So I must say I probably wasn't intending to buy like anything. Like, I think by this point, like, I was probably spent out, like, but these last two I kind of like couldn't really resist like passing them up. So this first one like is like by a group which James Griffiths done a video on a few months back, and like, yeah, like they're a band like who like I've kind of like been like sort of like listening to like some like off like the stuff, but like I've never sort of like thought to go out like and like buy one of their albums. Like, but this one, like, I'd never seen like on vinyl before, so I thought that I would pick up Wires, A Bell Is a Cup Until It Is Struck. So this is from 1988, this one here, and like I said, I've never ever seen this one like on vinyl before, and this was a bit more pricey. Like, I maybe overpaid slightly for this one, but it is in lovely condition. It's still got like the original like inner with it, and like, yeah, this is a kind of, it's more sort of poppy like for like Wire. Like, I mean it's not pop music really, but like it's a bit more like melodic and like sort of like kind of like easy on the ear than some of like the other work, like, shall I say. So yeah, like this one, a great record. Like, if you've not heard of the song Kidney Bingos, I would check that one out. Like, that's like probably like the standout one on this album. And after that, me and Callum went off to another shop, and I think this was Vinyl Revival we went to, and like I managed to fill a hole in my New Order collection, so I picked up their album Technique here. Now this is a original on Factory, and this was only £10, so I thought that's the cheapest like I'll like ever like get like an original of this. So I thought, yeah, well, we'll pick that one up, just as like the inner with it there. And this isn't the best New Order album for me. They kind of went a bit too sort of dancey like on this record, like a bit too house like sort of driven. Like, I believe that they actually recorded it like in like Ibiza, like, if like I'm not mistaken. So it has that sort of like kind of like that sort of like heavy sort of like club vibe like to it. Like, which was like sort of like very popular like at the time. But for me personally, I do prefer like the sort of like the Power Corruption and Lies and like Low Life kind of sound like to New Order, but still like not a bad record to your Technique. Okay, and then a couple of days later, I met up again with Callum. We went to a record fair, what was happening in Leeds, and like once again before this, he gave me a couple of singles, which again like I was like really, really, really grateful for. Like, he's I believe these were from like his own like record shop, like where like he works in, like, so yeah, like was very grateful that like he like picked these up like for me. So that was Elvis Costello one here for Let Them All Talk, and an Echo and the Bunnymen one here, which is The Cutter, which, yeah, like really nice condition, like picture sleeves, these ones here. So yeah, those from Callum. Again, really, really, really grateful, like, yeah, thank you, like, for getting me those. And then at the actual record fair, like in Leeds, this was probably one of like the best record fairs like I've been to, like, I would say. It was just in like the main market square, like in like the city centre. But there was a lot of sellers there, a lot of great stuff, like, really, like, it was, yeah, just, like, a really good, like, solid record fair, I thought. And, like, yeah, like, again, like, after, like, the kind of, like, spending splurge, like, in, like, Manchester, like, a few days ago, like, I was kind of cautious, like, to stay, like, on budget this time, like, which I did. So, yeah, like, I got, like, the following there. So, firstly, like, which is a China Crisis compilation, and this was only £12, and I could have bought it like anyway. Like, however, this one is like a bit more special because it's actually signed like by like the band there. So yeah, that's really cool. Like, I thought, yeah, like it's just yeah, again, something like which like, you don't see like every day. That's like a signed copy like of it. And this is a really great compilation. Basically, just has all of their singles on it. So yeah, that's yeah, China Crisis, and what's this one called? The Very Best Of. Now, one thing which I was looking for, like at like this like record fair, and like also like all like the shops like in Manchester like went to, was the second House of Love album. I didn't get that one like in like Leeds, unfortunately, but I did find one of the singles from it, which is I Don't Know Why I Love You. Really, really, really creative artwork like to this one here. Yeah, the song itself like is brilliant, like, and like you get like 2 like exclusive B-sides on that as well. So yeah, like can't complain there. This is I think a £5, this one here. So yeah, like I thought, pick that up, The House of Love. And then again, like another box the seller had, I think it was 3 for a tenner, like sort of like deal like going on. So like yeah, like I had a wee like flick through there and I found like these two singles, like which like I thought right like we've got to get these. Very rarely like do you see like beautiful South like 12-inch singles like in like the wild. So we've got Old Red Eyes is back here, and We Are Each Other. So both from the album 0898, and again just both have sort of absolutely stunning like artwork like to them here, and like again exclusive B-sides. So yeah, these were like really nice ones like to pick up. And like again, like sort of like I continue to like sort of like flicking through like the bin like trying to find something to sort of like complete like the deal like sort of thing like to get like 3 for a tenner. So like I got this one here, like this Talking Heads one for And She Was. Again, really nice artwork. Unfortunately no like exclusive B-side because it's just got Perfect World, which is from like the Little Creatures album like anyway. But still quite nice to get this one here, like if not like just for like the artwork. And then also from Leeds, I picked up this Morrissey album. Now Callum, who's probably a bit more like of like a Morrissey solo fan like than I am, like I said, this is a really great record. Like it's a really like solid rocking album. So I thought, yeah, like we'll pick that one up. It's a Years of Refusal here, and Callum was absolutely right like on the money like with this one here. This is one of Morrissey's really best albums, I think. It's just really like rocking out like on like this record, like much more so than like his like last two like solo records. Yeah, it's just a great record here from 2009, this one. So yeah, like over about 10 years old now, like, but yeah, still one of Morrissey's like really good albums here, Years of Refusal. And then the last thing I seen like at this fair was this album which I'd checked out like on Discogs, and like apparently like this is like a little bit rarer, like it usually goes for about 15 to 20 pounds this one here, like so like I was quite pleased to find this one. It's the first album by Orange Juice, and like yeah, just one day like I decided like on Spotify, right, I'm gonna listen to this album, and it just blew me away. It was like so fantastic. I just like the guitar playing on it. I thought like the lyrics like were really fun, like and clever, and like yeah, it just seemed like right up like my alley. So like yeah, like this was a nice one to find here, and this is a lovely copy of it as well. It is actually like a promo copy there, like stamped, and it has all these sort of trimmings with it as well. So you got like the inner sleeve there, which is a nice picture like off like Edmund Collins, like and like the band, the lyrics on the other side. And this is on it's on Polydor Records, I think, this one here, but that's what the label looks like. So yeah, that's Orange Juice, You Can't Hide Your Love Forever. Fantastic debut record here, I think. Really underrated band. Like this album I don't think was a success. There wasn't any big single on it, but it is just sort of like classic, like sort of like indie pop. Okay, and then we move on to the things which I purchased today. So I went up to Dundee. There was a record fair like going on, and then I also went in Groucho's at the record shop like in the city centre. So yeah, like I like got like these things, like these first three are actually from Groucho's. Groucho's like the record shop. So I got This Beautiful South single, Song for Whoever, and this is one which I've been like wanting to get like for like a wee while, like either like on like 7-inch like or 12-inch, mostly for the B-side, which is called Straight In at 37, which is a brilliant song. I think that track should have been like on the debut album proper. It's just like a incredible B-sides. Like I would say like for like Richard McCook, like that's one like to check out, like if like he doesn't know like already, like, which I'm sure he does. Yeah, this is like a great song, like which yeah should have been probably like a single like in like his own right, like I would say, like would have done quite well. And then this next one's just a bit of fun really. Like came across it, and it's only what was it, £3 this one here, and it's a Lloyd Cole picture disc. Now I believe this is just like an interview like on it, but I mean like I'd never seen it before. Just quite a fun like sort of like collectible item here, like rather like inexpensive there. Now this next album has a bit of a backstory to it, like as usual. So like yeah, we'll just like show it and like then explain. So it is by the Colourfield, and it's called Virgins and Philistines. So how I came across this band was Noel Gallagher released a song last month like all like a few months ago called Rattlin' Rose, And someone online, I think it was a YouTube video, noted that like it was very, very similar to a song by The Colourfield, which is also called The Colourfield, like a self-titled song there. So like I looked up like The Colourfield, and like it was pretty much Rattling Rose, like, to be honest, like, with you. But like, also really like the Colourfield song, like, itself. Like, so like I checked out, I think there was a best of compilation like on Spotify, and again, really, really liked it. So like, it was only much later, like when like I discovered like the lead singer like of the band is Terry Hall, like he was also in The Specials and Funboy 3. Like I'm not a massive fan like of like either like of those bands, like, but like, he was again someone like he like was like really like prolific, like in like a lot of like different bands like in like the 70s like and 80s there. So this is from 1985 here, and this is I think this is their first record. I'm not too sure where this lies like in like their discography, like, but it doesn't have the song The Colourfield on it, like, which like I was hoping that it would, because that is probably like my favourite song like of theirs. And this is on a Chrysalis record, so yeah, that's The Colourfield there. Okay, and then we move on to the things I got from the record fair. Now, this was again a good record fair. Like, there's a lot of sellers like at this one. Like, whether like I wasn't really going like with anything like specific like in mind. So I couldn't spend a goal like that much there, like, but I did get like these things here. So I came across this Morrissey 12-inch single, which I always like to pick up. So this is for November Spawned a Monster. Like, yeah, like not one of my favourite like Morrissey like solo songs, but again, this has exclusive B-sides as usual. What's on this one? He Knows I'd Like to See Him, which is really good, and Gil, Least Likely To, which is actually like a co-write with Andy Rourke, like of course like the Smiths like former bass player. So yeah, nice to get that one, like for like a £5 there, November Spawned a Monster. And now when I was in Manchester with Rob, like he mentioned this band to me, like saying like you really like need to check these guys out. It is Fields Music. And like he described them like as a mix of the Beatles and XTC, like which are probably like the two favourite bands. So like by the sounds of it, these guys like were like right up my alley, and like I must say, I really like loved listening like to like Field Music. Like I think I listened to the other album called Common Time. They've been going for about 15 years now, right? But like yeah, this is their latest one from 2017, and it's called Open Here. I also hear like sort of like elements of like the Talking Heads in them, as well as sort of like Steely Dan, like just in terms like of like sort of like the musical like sort of like perfection. It's very sort of clean like and like professional like sounds to them, but also like kind of has like sort of a jerky funky edge as well, like sort of like XTC Talking Heads like sort of like vibe to them, and then just like sort of like the cracking melodies like of like the Beatles, like so it is really just sort of like all the music I love, like kind of like sort of like melded like into one. And yeah, this is a great record. Like I really love like the artwork to this one. It's kind of like sort of like it's one of like these die cut sort of covers there, and it's got a wee sort of like opening door like on it as well. So yeah, really like creative artwork like on this one. Nice printed inner sleeve, and this is just on black vinyl. But yeah, that is Field Music. An album called Open Here, released in 2017. And then the only other thing which I got from the Dundee Record Fair was this CD box set. Now I just seen it like lying there, and like I just thought, wow, I've got to get that. Like it was only £15 for like a 4 CD box set. Paul Weller live at the BBC, and like also like considering that this goes for about £40 like on Discogs, this was just an absolute steal, I thought. So yeah, just like BBC recordings, like so some sort of like solo like sessions, as well as like sort of like live concerts, like right throughout like his like solo career. Like there's some like really early stuff like from like the early 90s, like going like right through like to like his latest album like off the time, 22 Dreams. And this is really nicely packaged, just got 2 CDs there, a really good like little book in here just with lots of pictures in it and like whatnot, and then the other 2 CDs like at the back. So yeah, for £15 this was just yeah like absolute steal. Paul Weller at the BBC. And then the last thing which I'm going to show today is an online purchase. So like yeah, like I said, like this is an album which I was looking for like in Manchester, in Leeds, and like probably like for like the last like 2 months like while I've been like record shopping. Never had any luck like ever coming across it like in the wild, so I finally caved in, bought it like on Discogs. It's not a particularly rare record, not particularly like expensive, but like it was one which I've just had no luck like ever coming across like in like shops like or fairs. but very glad to finally add the House of Love to my collection. So this is their second album, their second self-titled album. The first one was also self-titled as well. It gets rather confusing, but this is kind of called like the Butterfly album, like, or like the Fontana album, like, because that's the label it's on. And this is a great record, just an incredible collection of songs here, like from like the opening tracks, Hannah and Shine On, Beatles and the Stones is incredible, Shake and Crawl, love that one. I Don't Know Why I Love You was the single, which I showed earlier, that's just wonderful. Never is great as well. So yeah, just a really solid album here from 1990, this one. And like, yeah, they're just such like an underrated band, I think. Like, and like at this point, kind of like the Stone Roses and like Manchester was really like really ruling like the musical world. These guys, like, with like the sort of like psychedelic tinge like rock, like didn't really get much off a looking, but I think we're just as good like as the Stone Roses. And so this is like the inner sleeve to it, just really nice butterfly artwork, and this one also has the lyric insert to it as well. So yeah, glad to pick up this one finally, the House of Love. Okay, so that's us come to the end of this vinyl update video. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed watching. I've certainly enjoyed buying like all like these records. Like I really loved like meeting up like with Callum and Rob. Like that was like really special. I had like a great time with them. Like just shows like so like the power like of like the VC to like bring like people like together. So yeah, like I had like a like really good like couple of months like buying records there. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed. And I will see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye.